For more on this right now, we're going to bring in our panel. Capri Cafaro is a former Ohio Senate Democratic minority leader and an executive in residence at America University's School of Public Affairs. Chris Willson, also here with Senator Ted Cruz's campaign pollster and is the CEO of the WPA Intelligence. Good to have both of you.
Absolutely. Good afternoon.
And Chris, I want to start with you since we're talking about Senator Warren. I want to ask you, will her claims of being American Indian continue to dog Senator Warren and ultimately cost her the Democratic nomination, or will her supporters care in the end?
Well, starting with her supporters, you didn't show toward the end of the speech where about half of them that were standing behind her actually walked off the stage before she was finished, which is not a great way to announce. But I will say, I'm actually appearing here from Oklahoma, where I happen to grow up. And she seems to claim that because she was from Oklahoma, she had the idea that, well, I must be Native American. And I can say that is, in fact, we learned in Oklahoma history about the Dawes rolls, in which they did actually, there was a census of tribal peoples that listed out who was Native American. And I would say, instead of using it as an excuse, if anything, it makes her claims even more nefarious, because we do have such a strong understanding of what it means to be Native American in growing up here. I'm frankly surprised she didn't put off her announcement after the exposure this week of the Texas Law Bar Association application, which she listed in her handwriting and claimed to be Native American. And now that she's saying it may turn out in other places, I think this is absolutely disastrous for her campaign and the sort of scandal you cannot rise above. And I think we'll see her campaign come to a fairly quick end.
So, Chris, by the way, I didn't see the end of Senator Warren's speech, so I didn't catch the very end, and I didn't see people walking up stage, so I don't know about that.
You'll have to go watch.
But it could have been because it was freezing out there. Who knows,
well,
though?
There's that.
I'm not sure. Yeah. Capri, let's go to you now. That controversy on the table, as Chris just pointed out, he doesn't think it's going to go anywhere. I want to know if you think it'll wane in the end, and also in terms of message and policy promise. What does Senator Warren bring to the crowded table, and can she unseat President Trump?
I think it's going to be very difficult for Senator Warren. I think that, this issue continues to haunt her about her ethnicity and how it potentially has been used, and if it was used to advance her career. The Boston Globe apparently has investigated this significantly and has come to the conclusion that it was not used for some kind of professional gain, but it still does damage her credibility. And in such a crowded field, mostly all sort of in one place on the progressive lane of the Democratic Party in this primary. To me, I think that the Democratic Party would be better served with less people in this primary, and frankly, more of these United States senators staying where they are, because there is a very important fight and dialogue to have in the United States Senate. And with all of these folks saying that, they're concerned about President Trump, doing your job in the United States Senate and having that checks and balance is critically important, and maybe more important than a vanity project running for the president of the United States. Now,
well, here's one senator, by the way, who didn't get your message, apparently. Senator Cory Booker from New Jersey. He's out today. Right now, here's a live look in Des Moines, Iowa. He has already thrown his ring in that, his hat in that crowded ring for Democratic hopefuls in 2020. Senator Cory Booker is also one of those who is supportive of the Green New Deal, comparing it to going to the moon or defeating the Nazis in World War II. So let's talk about that Green New Deal. Capri, staying with you, break it way down for us. What's the essence of the Green New Deal? And tell us why it would be good for middle and working class Americans.
Well, let's just first say Cory Booker should not be talking and comparing anything to Nazis. So setting that aside, the Green New Deal, look, we do need to have a serious conversation about climate change. There is a potential for investment in, producing wind and solar and all of those components that go into that generation that could create jobs. But that isn't necessarily what the Green New Deal is doing. It is a simple resolution, one introduced in the Senate, one introduced in the House. Why is that important? Because it's not really a bill necessarily that has the force of law. So just to let you know, it starts saying recognizing the duty of the federal government to create a Green New Deal. And then it goes, whereas we have all these problems, and then resolved that is the sense of the House or the Senate that we should do X, Y, Z, like, get rid of air travel. So this is really more expressing an opinion than actually, implementing a law. So my personal opinion is let's stick with that special committee that was just created in the House, go through regular order, and actually try to pass a bill that can move the ball forward rather than basically doing political pageantry. But that's why all these 2020 folks have signed on, because it's a nice, shiny thing. And when all
but
of
maybe it's not such a nice, shiny thing. Chris, let me get your take on the Green New Deal.
It is for the progressive wing.
Chris, let me get your take on the Green New Deal. And is this a political albatross for the Democrats?
It really is. It's being hung around their necks. And as you see more and more the Democrats jump on board and embrace this, I think what they're doing is what Donald Trump did in his State of the Union address that I think was absolutely brilliant is when he drew a line in the sand about America being a socialist country. And then in essence, what you have is a socialist member of Congress immediately thereafter go introduce a resolution that would do exactly that, which is make America a socialist country. If you were to take the Green New Deal and implement all aspects of it, it would cause 75% of the U.S. economy be taken over by the government. That is the true definition of socialism. And from that, now you have several of the really all of the mainstream leading Democrat candidates who have embraced that. And I think what they are doing is walking right into the trap that Donald Trump set for them on Tuesday night. And they're doing it in a way that is going to trickle down into Senate and congressional races that is going to make this has the potential to become the deciding issue for Democrats. Democrats that were able to make such realm in the suburbs, and now they're going to be pushed back because of how far left they're going.
Capri, is the Green New Deal socialism? And can it be compared to existing or past government-funded benefits that Americans have access to?
Again, you can't really compare it because it's a resolution, not something that is actually, a bill that is.
But you need to talk to the people right now because that's what they are promoting out there right now.
I
the
know,
candidates
and I know
are.
that
So
this is a
regardless if you see it as an
here.
opinion or what, clarify it for us. Here's your chance.
Well, look, again, I am not necessarily an advocate of the Green New Deal because I think that it is much like Howard Dean, for example, and Obama's former Secretary of Energy. It is not something that is actually able to be implemented because we're not going to fully reduce, airplane travel, for example. I would say let's try to, for example, start with implementing the aspects of the Paris Accord. Let's be realistic. We will have to talk about climate change. This isn't the way to do it. And I think we need to grow up and get real.
Capri Cafaro, Chris Willson, got to leave it there. Thanks to both of you and see you again on the campaign trail.
Thank you.
Thank you.